Welcome to the cryptocurrency construct. So this is Bitcoin as you see it on a daily basis. Everyone hyping the halving, saying that Bitcoin has to go higher, 20K, 16K, new all-time high. And even though we're in a bearish formation, it can't possibly break to the downside. It has to go up. And you got your Bybit, your BitMEX shillers. We're above a certain moving average. What does that mean for Bitcoin? To the moon.
Wait, you're saying the bull run isn't real?
Well, what is a real bull run? If it's a matter of making higher lows and higher highs, or being above or below a certain moving average, then market makers can manipulate the price to give the illusion you're in a bull run, when in actuality, we're still in a bear market. This is the market that's been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
By turning the average moon boy into this and this.
No, it can't be true. I don't believe it.
Do me a favor, if you see an agent, just stand there. Alright guys, got a lot to cover here. First of all, if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter. If I don't have time to make a video, it takes a while to process those and upload them. And I'm always looking at the charts. Even if I'm working, I'm paying attention to the charts. So if I see something, this is the first place I'll go to make an update to let you guys know what I see. I'm going to cover some of these predictions that I made and show you how these played out and how these rings were respected. And then I'm going to go over and give you the bearish and bullish case and show you what I'm looking for. But I would like to point out, so in this post here, I was basically showing, let's see, notice how price dropped and quickly retraced back up, and now we're finding resistance on the blue ring. This was to liquidate longs and shorts before potentially having another drop soon. So, and this is what I was saying, you know, I was telling people that we were finding resistance underneath this purple ring. You know, when we drop, as soon as it pushes back up, you know, this is liquidate longs, and this is to liquidate shorts. But you see we got resistance right here on this blue ring. And then I said this would be a point where we potentially start coming back down. In this post, I said I'm expecting the next significant move for Bitcoin in about 1 day when we hit the next red ring. And I said I'd make a brief video explaining this. And also how I found this yellow fib circle here. But also I was referencing these red rings here. You know, they don't always play out the same, but you know, you see you cross this ring, we pushed up, we crossed this ring, we pushed up, and we had a drop. So I was expecting within 1 day that we would hit this ring, push up, and then have a drop. That's not how it played out actually. Within, you know, within a day, we actually started moving down and then hit the ring. But either way, you know, I said that we would have a drop. It just played out a little differently. So if we go to this one, this is where I was explaining. This is the video, guys. You know, check out Twitter, click on this video. This is where I explain the yellow ring and also showing the resistance and support. So when I added this yellow fib circle here, this gave us our support. The purple ring was our resistance. You can see what happened as soon as we came to the apex, we dropped down. You see we wicked below it, the candle came up to this yellow ring. We pushed up, we got resistance on the blue ring. We were bouncing back up and down. This is the time I posted this. I was expecting us to hit this ring. So this one, as stated in yesterday's video, first target for possible balance was 8,300. As you can see, that target was hit almost to the dollar. I mentioned that in this video, 8,300. You can see right here, we dropped down right to 8,300. And the reason in that video I mentioned is this chart. That's why I say, guys, always look at the different charts. You see this line right here was previously strong resistance. It also goes back to the left as strong resistance and support. That's why I said this would be the first possible bounce we would get would be 8,300. So this next one, so at current price action, we crossed the ring in less than 2 hours. It's possible we could get a pump after crossing the ring. As you can see, that's what happened in the previous ring. There's also possibility it pushes us down further when making contact. And this is a pivot ring. We crossed it, pushed up. And then I was seeing when we cross this, you know, it could push us up. So let's go up to the next one here. So you can see as And as you can see, as we crossed the ring, we started to pump. There's a video about this, and if we click this, you can see as soon as we crossed this ring, we started to push up. This here, I said, while nothing's ever certain, I do want to share what I find. To me, it looks like we could be in a falling wedge, which is a bullish pattern. This could give us a pump before reaching the apex. And again, I do believe we're still in a downtrend, but there will be pumps along the way. You can see this is the purple ring that pushes down, this is the blue ring that pushes down, and this was actually forming, you know, with this yellow ring. So these rings are actually forming this falling wedge that we're in. But, you know, I was calling for a pump to, you know, 8,500. You know, we started moving up, we came back down. But again, this is where I saw that we were in a falling wedge, expecting at some point to break out. I was just covering some stock charts here. But this one says, as you can see, bottom yellow ring was our resistance. Support should be the bottom of wedge. Falling wedges are typically a bullish pattern, but remember, these can break to the downside. And you can see this is where it pumped up right to this yellow ring, right at 8,500. And then we started moving back down. And then this next one, looks like within the next 4 hours, Bitcoin will have a drop or we pop. The one at Coinbase is suggesting that we have a pop, so basically that we'd go to the upside. And I was showing that we were moving up this line in this fib channel. And, you know, obviously we have to get above the resistance of this purple ring, the trend line, the wedge, and then this blue ring as well. These are some of the charts showing some potential resistance and support. This one here, as long as we stay above the yellow line, I'm staying in just in case this does break to the upside. Current support for yellow line on the 2-hour candle is 8,430 on the Kraken chart. So if we look at this, you know, this was a line we were moving up. So I was expecting, as long as we stay above this line, you know, we're going to break above this, the top trend line in this falling wedge, which could potentially push us up. And that's what I'm saying. If we drop below it, we're probably coming back down. And then this one, so we actually did drop below this yellow line. So I see two possibilities. We either are forming a head and shoulders, as someone else had mentioned, which should push us back up, or we're headed to the bottom of the wedge. So if you'll notice, you know, we started moving back down. I decided to stay in because, you know, usually these retrace down and come back up. But the other reason that I thought we'd have a breakout is because this was very strong support, and I did mention, you know, somebody mentioned, well, in a head and shoulders, you know, and actually in a downtrend, you know, this is a bearish pattern. If you're in a downtrend, this is your left shoulder, your head, your right shoulder. You break below the neckline, find resistance, and then come down. But you'll notice, actually, it was, you know, when I put this, I said, other than neckline being strong support, a head and shoulders pattern in the downtrend is a continuation pattern, which could push us down. But because, and if you'll notice right here, we were finding support right here. So even if this was a bearish pattern, you know, a head and shoulders in a downtrend, it made more sense, since we were finding support, that by the time before we would have a chance to break down, we would already be out of the wedge, which would push us up. And you can see, as soon as we broke past this purple ring, we shot straight up and got rejected right at this blue ring. So you can see these blue rings and this purple, the blue ring and the purple ring, are giving us perfect resistance and support. I mean, just falling right down this curve. So if we go back and we go to this, so you can see that, you know, we finally broke above. You know, we went back up onto the line in this fib channel, and we were forming kind of a rising wedge right here at this blue ring. This was another chart showing this is resistance. And if we go up here, you can see, as soon as we broke above, so the same thing, as soon as we broke above this purple ring, we shot right up to the blue ring. We got rejected, came back down to this fib channel line, came back up, found more resistance. As soon as we broke the blue ring, we shot up. And these were different formations on different charts that I was showing. And actually on this yellow ring, as soon as we crossed it, we pushed up. So, and this right here was a formation that I said that we could possibly be in. And that's the beauty of these charts, guys. You can find formations that we will be in before we actually, you know, start bouncing back up and forth in it. And I was giving upside targets. I expected a 6% move. We shot way past that. I'm just going to show you. So we were approaching a red ring on the BitMEX chart where previous rings had played a role influencing the price of Bitcoin. This ring could push us down. Or when crossed could cause a pump. Just wanted to point that out and show you the bigger picture. So this is what I was saying. And by the way, well, this isn't the one. Actually, I think this might be the one. This is the structure we were in that I was calling. We were like right here. I said we'd be bouncing back up and forth in this before we get a push up. But I was pointing out this ring. You can see we're respecting this ring. We found support. We hit it. We found resistance. When we crossed it, we pushed up. That's what I was saying. When we hit this ring, I expect us to potentially get pushed down a bit. And when we cross, we would have a pump. If we come up here, so you can see, I said, as mentioned in a previous post, when we cross the ring, it could send price up. And that's exactly what it did. You can see as soon as we hit this ring, it pushed us up. But guys, I would like to point out, let me find this chart real quick. So this is the actual chart. And keep in mind, guys, this yellow fib circle is huge. So just moving it by 1 pixel can offset this by hours. But if you move it down like this, you can see that is pretty much what happened. We moved down the ring, and as soon as we broke past the ring, we pushed up. And that is, that's what happened. As soon as we crossed the ring, we started going up. I was just making a post about being in trades. And this is where I said I had a target to sell. That target was hit. And I was making posts about where my target was, which was up here around 88. It's a little bit above 8,800. But it hit that target coming back down. Usually I have a plan. I stick with it. I got to this point. I was happy with the profit I made, so I sold at this point. It did continue up higher, so it retraced back down. I bought in, wrote it back up. It had my stop loss set because I expected this to come down at any time. But you need to take profit, guys. This isn't financial advice, but you can ride it up, but at any time it come back down, and the profit you just made, you're gonna lose. So I wanted to take my profit. However, I could have stayed in, and it would have gone up higher, and I could have made more profit. But again, I was happy with what I had, so I took the profit. And this post, I said, just wanted to show you how accurate these fib channels are. So you can see how high this pushed up. It kept going up, but what I was pointing out on these 3 charts, you can see these fib channels. This is 3 different charts: Kraken chart, Bybit, and Coinbase. All 3 of these charts were created in a different method. Well, the same method I used, but they were charted, from scratch, each one. And you can see we hit right to the tick on this chart, right to the tick on this one, and same for this one. As soon as we hit these lines, we started coming back down. Just showing you how accurate these charts are. And guys, these rings, these fib circles, if these charts were created on November and December, these charts are months old. And guys, I will be updating these charts at the end of this week. But I just want to point out that these charts, all of this has already been set up, way back. And it's respecting all of these rings in these fib channels. It goes way back. And if you look at the bigger picture, how it respects these rings, you get an idea where price is going. And when you get above a certain ring, you can get a pump. You see, we pushed up and found support on this orange ring. We're moving up right now. And this was a post I made about, I think this is the most recent one. This is where, actually, so this chart, let me show you this real quick, guys. So this is where I was saying, and I was going to make a video yesterday, but I got busy. So I'll make a short video about this today. Pay attention to the 200 daily moving average and the white ring we're currently finding resistance at. I also added a yellow trend line that is likely to be support. So in this is what I was telling people, that this ring right here, this is one of the Coinbase charts. This ring was giving us resistance right here. And I said if we do drop, this would be support. And guys, if you watch my tutorials, the very first tutorial I make covers trend lines. And it is the go-to tool that you need to learn first, because it can help you find support levels, resistance levels way out ahead of price action, as well as potential points where you could have a pivot. But on this chart, I was saying this was resistance. So, you know, if it pushes price down, you know, we come down and find support here. But if we break above this, and you can see what happened, if I go to this chart, so, you know, that's exactly what happened. You know, we found resistance on this ring, and as soon as we pushed above it, that's when we had a pump. You know, a lot of people are doing TA, you know, talking about moving averages and patterns. You know, it seems like there's a new person every day saying the same thing every other YouTuber saying. You know, here's a moving average. We're above this, we're bullish, and you're below this, you sell here. You know, the exchanges and the market makers are watching the exact same thing that you are. They're going to be ahead of the game. They're going to be 3 steps ahead of you because they control the market. And everybody's just using the same TA. Guys, this is a different kind of TA. This is actually showing you where your points are, where you're going to have your pumps, where you're going to get resistance. It's a completely different way of TA that, you know, nobody else is using, which puts you ahead of the game. You know, these rings are working. We found resistance, we pumped, we crossed it, and we had a pump. Let me go back to this, guys. I didn't plan this out too well. But, you know, basically that I was saying that, you know, we hit, this would be resistance. But I did want to point out that, you know, this is what I was showing you about in my tutorials. I said, you know, always draw trend lines where you have resistance. Draw trend lines where, you know, this is resistance and this is support. And this shows you that potentially when you hit, you know, when you hit this point, you could either push up or have a drop. And if you drop, you could potentially drop down to this point. So if I go to that chart, and bear with me while I find this. This is normally a chart I wouldn't save. So this is the published version of the chart. But what I want to point out is these did come into play here. Let me pan this around a bit. So you can see what happened. You know, we pushed up. We were finding support on this trend line. As soon as we hit, let me zoom in a bit more. As soon as we hit this line, we crossed this line right here, we had a drop. And where did we drop to? Right to this line that was previously resistance. It became support. And this line right here that was previously resistance, that became our resistance. And you can see that as we started moving sideways, as soon as we hit this line right here that is our support, you can see we had a drop, we pushed back up, and then we had another drop. Now we're moving sideways. So again, guys, check out my tutorials. I do cover trend lines. That's the most important thing you should learn. I also teach you how I create these charts from scratch, the ones with the fib channels, and how to find those fib circles. So if you do get a chance, do check that out. So if we go to this chart, this is the, and by the way, these are published charts. This was published on January 7th. I can't edit these charts. If I click on edit, all I can do is change the title and the description. I can't actually edit the chart. This is just to show, you know, when this chart was published, how it played out. And I want you to see, take note of this blue fib circle. And when we play this out, you know, this is current. And look where it stopped, right at this blue fib circle. You know, if we push above this, your next target is going to be up here around 10,000. You know, this isn't an angle, guys. That's why it's best to have the charts. But if we don't make it above this, then we're going to be coming back down to test support down here around 8,700, or potentially this yellow ring, which is around 8,114. And again, if you push up, this is what it does. It goes from this blue fib circle is the fib circle that price is respecting right now. It pushes up to this ring, pushes up to this ring, came back down, found resistance under it. You know, that's showing this charts earlier. This is a purple ring. This is a blue ring. Pushed right up to this blue ring. If we make it above this, this is your next target. This blue ring above. This is, you know, this is published January 16th. This was the one. This is where we were finding resistance on that ring. I think this is the one. Yeah. So this shows you how this chart played out. This was the rising wedge we're in. And keep this in mind, guys. We were in a rising wedge. We should have dropped down a lot further. We didn't. We dropped down to this and started to this point and then started pushing up, which is a little suspect to me. You know, we could push higher. Anything's possible. But I just want to show you how these charts are playing out. This is the chart I published. I published it January 22nd. This is after I added this yellow fib circle, just kind of showing how it played out. But again, if I hit play, you can see what happened. You know, we were finding resistance on this blue ring, pushed us down, we crossed the red ring, we went down sideways, we came up, found resistance on this purple ring, found more resistance, broke through it, found resistance on the blue ring, then respecting this yellow fib circle. You know, we came up, found resistance, found support on it, found resistance, support, resistance, pushed up through it. Where did we go to? Right to this next blue ring. Let's see this one here. So this is the this is my capitulation chart. We'll come back to that in just a second. So I'm expecting, you know, if you followed me, you know, a while back, you know, I was predicting that, you know, when we hit this ring that we would capitulate and come down. You know, we hit that ring and we came down, guys. After this is that ring right here. You know, just when we crossed that ring, we came down a total of 47%. And I told people, you know, back here, I didn't expect it to push up as high as it did. But I said, when we do hit this ring, we're coming down. And that's exactly what happened. And I was telling people with this chart, this is the next ring out. And the beauty of this is, if you were following my charts, you knew that when you got to this ring, this is a point that you could buy and ride up. Because you can see that's exactly what happened. We got right to this ring and started riding right up it. We crossed it, we came down. I was expecting us to come down more. We got pushed up. But again, guys, if people are expecting it to drop, you know, people, when shorts are starting to stack, they have to send price up to liquidate those shorts. But you can see, you know, we were in this rising wedge, which happened to be right at this ring. We had a drop and we pushed up. Let me show you. So, and I'm going to get into the bearish and the bullish case. You know, this chart I published on January 7th. This is the Dow Jones. Guys, again, these are published charts. If you pay for my charts, you know, the actual charts you get are the same charts I have. And these play out live on all devices, you know, mobile phones, tablets. You do not need a TradingView account, and they play out live. They're shareable, so if you click the copy icon, you can save them as your own and do with them as you please. By the way, guys, I'm going to keep those people that already subscribe monthly for $20 a month. I'm going to keep that active, but as soon as I update all of these charts at the end of the week, I'm going to take that option off. So if you are subscribed for $20 a month monthly, that will continue. If you can't do a subscription, though, I'm going to be changing the price to $40 a month. So again, I will leave that up. So if anybody wants to subscribe, they can, but after I get these new charts updated, if you haven't already subscribed, it will be $40 a month, or you can just pay for 1 month for $40. But did want to point that out, and if you want to access these charts, that information is in the description. So let me go to, so this is the Dow Jones. Like I said, I published this on January 7th. And if you notice, every time we hit one of these blue rings, we get rejected. Blue ring, rejection, blue ring, rejection, blue ring, small rejection. Then we are finding, well, we got rejected again, but you see this white ring. As soon as we hit this white ring right here, sent us down to support. This is the same fib circle right here. This ring and this ring and this ring, all part of the same fib circle. You see, when we broke support, we dropped all the way down. We broke through this ring, we dropped down to support, respecting this blue fib circle and this white fib circle. You can see when we hit this ring, we had a drop straight down to support. We hit this blue ring, had some rejection. We broke above it and we pushed up. We were finding resistance right here on this trend line. So it only makes sense, you know, if you push up, where are you going to get rejected? Right here at this blue ring. If you hit play, you see we didn't even make it all the way to the blue ring. We got rejected before, and then we're back under this trend line. So I'm predicting the stock market is going to, and I don't have the date on this because it's a published chart. I have to load the actual chart up. But I'm predicting that when this white ring is going to do the same thing it did back here. It pushed price down, pushed price down. Price is going to continue to push down to potentially 27,500, or if it's even more bearish, your next strong support is 26,228. Guys, it's funny watching these YouTubers say, we're going to have a stock market crash, which I believe we are, and I think I pretty much charted when we're going to have our crash. But they say that people are going to hedge against the stock market by putting their money in Bitcoin. No way in hell. People are going to put their money into precious metals like gold and silver. Because if you put your money in gold, even if it goes down a couple $100, it's going to be pretty much the same value. Years from now, it's a safe haven. Bitcoin is not a safe haven. You put your money in Bitcoin, you don't know one day to the next if you're going to have, you might have more money or you could lose half of what you put into it. People are not going to put their money into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is volatile. There's a lot of, people are it's appealing because people can trade it. You can make a lot of money on it really fast and you can lose money really fast. But it's not, it's risky. If the stock market's crashing, people are going to put their money into something that's a good store of value, and that would be gold or silver or some precious metal, not Bitcoin. So guys, I'm telling you, I'm expecting the stock market to continue down from here, and I think this is late February, March, when I think we're going to probably bottom. And again, my targets for the stock market is 27,500 and potentially down to 26,200. So I'm expecting a pretty substantial drop. This is the Facebook chart. And I said this is your upside target, and this is your resistance. You can see it's respecting this yellow ring. If I play, this was published on December 28th, 2019. If I hit play, look at this. It hit this to the tick. I mean, you got perfect rejection right at this ring. Came down, found perfect support on this ring, and it's coming back up. Where's it coming to? Right to this ring. Guys, people are paying me to create stocks for them. This guy was talking about he wants 8 to 10 more stocks he wants me to create for him, or charts for him. These are different stocks he wants. And here he's saying, if successful, forecast going forward several years worth of fib circles would be the best tool for my trading. Knowing when sell-offs are coming could be very profitable. So he sees a value in these because when it hits a certain ring, he knows when to buy or when to sell and knows where support is. And he wanted me to create Boeing, JP Morgan, Lockheed Martin. I was telling him that I finished those charts. He said, awesome. Let's move some capital around. He said, just an update, still in the process moving funds, so I'm able to utilize your stock charts. Great work, by the way, on Facebook. Fib circles respected today's drop. And, it does. I mean, again, these charts are accurate. This here is JP Morgan. So let me hit play on this one. You can see that it's perfectly respecting this orange fib circle right here, and this red fib circle. Got topped out right here. You found support on this yellow line of this fib channel. Came down, found support on both of these rings, moved back up. Where was your target? This line right here. Let me go to, this is Google. So let me hit play on this. So you can see that I said your upside target was this blue ring, and then you have this yellow ring as well. And at the time I published it, this was January 7th, so I hit play. It comes right up to this yellow ring for resistance, and we're riding up this orange ring. As soon as it broke up above this this yellow ring, it came right up to this next target, found support on it, and then dropped down to this line in this fib channel. And when it came up, where was your resistance? This yellow ring. This is Apple. So your upside target is this yellow ring. This ghosted ring right here is the next ring up. If you watch a previous video where I was covering stocks, if I hit play, at the time I think we were right here. So I said your target before we come down is this next ring. And like I said, when I published it, when I made that video, it was right here. But you can see it came right up, hit that target, came down, hit this where previously I said where upside target, found resistance on it, and pushed back up to this ring again. There's a lot of volume there. So we'll have to see what happens. I expect this to start coming back down because I do expect the stock market to continue down. Same with metals. This is Palladium. Let me zoom in on this a bit. So if I hit play on this, your targets are the yellow rings and the white ring. This went way above where my target was. But you can see we got topped out right at this ring, and then we came down, we're finding support. Actually, it's respecting the blue fib circle as well. You can see it came up, it found resistance on it, it found resistance, found resistance, peaked out right at the top of this one, came back down. So right here, this white ring and this blue ring is where your support is. I do expect this to start dropping down further. We'll probably come back down and test around 1,938, but we'll be bouncing off of these rings. XRP, you know, like I said, these charts work for, you know, stocks, Bitcoin, and precious metals, as well as the altcoins. So if I hit play, look how it's respecting this yellow fib circle. You know, perfect resistance, perfect support, comes up resistance. You know, working with this white ring. You find resistance, as soon as you break above the yellow ring, comes all the way up here, finds resistance, support. It's working within this channel. Look at that, it comes all the way up here, finds resistance, support, resistance. Comes down, hits this ring for support again, finds resistance, and when it breaks above it, you get a pump. You get rejected right here at this ring. You break above it, you come to the next ring, you come back down. This is Ethereum. You know, the blue fib circle is what price is respecting, as well as the yellow fib circles. If I hit play, I mean, and the white fib circle, it pushes up. It didn't make it to this ring, came back down, found support, pushed up to the next ring as resistance. As soon as it pushed above this ring, it pushed up. You know, it's respecting the fib channels as well. It pushed sideways, found support on this white ring, pushed up. But where do you go? You go from blue ring to blue ring to blue ring. If we continue up, you know, your potential target, again, you're working within the white fib circles and the blue ones, but if you continue up, your first target for Ethereum is 202. You go above that, 224, and your next blue ring up here is around 230. And if you drop, you know, your first support is going to be 170. You drop below that, your support's 139. So you can see how well these fib circles are working. And we'll get into this. So let me go ahead and show you what I'm looking for here for you know, potential, the bearish case and the bullish case for Bitcoin. And by the way, you know, I'll put a link to this video up right now. But all the videos I reference will be in the description. If you want to watch the video about this, it's called the Bitcoin bubble. You know, go watch that, and you'll see why I think it's more bearish than a lot of people think. But as far as this chart, you know, what's amazing to me is I never see anyone using this chart, and you know, no one ever uses this. And this has been the most profitable and the most accurate pitchfork I've ever created. You know, it comes back. Let me turn off this moving average. So it comes from our peak in 2013 to where we bottomed 2015 up to the peak in December 2017, and you can see this center line of this pitchfork. We found support on it. As soon as we broke support, we capitulated and we came down. This same center line was resistance and support. This same center line, when we broke support of this line, we capitulated down to 3K, from 6K to 3K. We moved up, found resistance on this center line. We moved up to the next line, found support on the same center line here. As soon as we broke it, we capitulated and came down. And then when we pushed up, where was our resistance? This center line. This center line has been a key line for the price of Bitcoin, going all the way back to our previous bear market. You can see we continue to go down, continue to go down. This was the next ring from my capitulation ring right here. We pushed up it, we came down a little bit, and we started pushing up. So just according to this chart, if we push up, I'm looking at a target of 12,000. If you're bullish, you expect this to go up. Your first resistance, guys, look at this line. You can see how price is respected. This yellow line going all the way back. Support, resistance, support and resistance. Break it, you come down. Support and resistance. You break it, you come down. Same thing. You move up, you find resistance at it. So if we push up, 12,000 is the point where, you know, if it does push up that high, that's where I'm going to sell, because I expect us to get a retrace to come back down. If we get above that, I get a lot more bullish that we can go higher, because your next line above is up here. That'd be putting in a higher high than our previous, you know, local high back here around 14,000. But again, you know, we have to get above this line. So, you know, that's this chart. Again, guys, you can watch the video on the capitulation chart. But, you know, I just want to show you one other way to look at this. So let me just get rid of everything on this chart. when we were, I made a video on this a while back. Some other people did as well. But you can use a simple fib retracement. Don't use these too often. Let's see, fib retracement. So predicting the top here. If you just come from this point down to this point, you can see the 0.618 was pretty much where we got topped out, and then we started moving down, and then we found support down here on the 0.236, and then started moving back up. You can see we're getting resistance right now on the 0.382. So one way to look at this, and if we do a trend line, let's go from right here, and let's just go from the peaks, and by the way, I'm in log scale. So let's do a trend line following support going all the way up. And when you do trend lines, you can find support on top, come underneath it and find support and find resistance. So it doesn't have to be down like this. Get it to where it matches, to where you find support, it comes up, you find support, comes down, find resistance. So this is the trend line we're pretty much following. We found support riding all the way up this, and then we found support again. So that shows that this trend line is still active. So if we pull this up, this is our support right now. So if we break this support, guys, we're coming down. But let me just get this to where it matches up. Let me get this right on the tip here. So again, if we push up, right here is 11,391, and coincidentally, before I removed everything on the chart, that resistance line I gave you was around 12,000. So the top of this trend line right here is pretty much around, this is 11,582, but that's pretty close to that center yellow line I just showed you. So if we push up, look for this to be a potential point. If we break above that, that's why I was saying that's very bullish, because we're breaking out of this larger structure. Again, it shows the significance of that yellow line. That's even if we make it above this point. We can continue down, and if we break below, if we drop down sooner, you're looking at 7,200. If we move sideways, you're out here, you're looking at 8,400. But I believe if we break this support, we're coming way down. We can come back over here. This is our 2014, 2000. Well, actually, this goes all the way back to 2012. But we can do the same thing. We can do a trend line for support. Actually, we'll just come down like this. You can see that this right here, you've got this is support, and you get resistance right here, and you get support on it, you get more support, you get a little resistance, and then it follows all the way up. Again, guys, I teach this if you watch my tutorials about trend lines. But basically, you can see that we followed right up this. Granted, we came below it, we found some resistance, came back up, but this is basically the trajectory we were following. This was, the bull run that led all the way up. I mean, this is where it went parabolic, and then we retraced back down to support. We went parabolic, then retraced back down. So if we take another trend line, and we come from the top, and we just go like this. So this is what I'm saying right here. I mean, if we do, let's do a fib retracement. Let me go from the bottom here to the top. So look what happened here. We topped out here. We came down. Actually, hold on. Let me do that. I did that the wrong way here. So we come to the top and come down to the bottom. So you can see what happened. We were topped out here. We came down. This is the 0.768, or I'm sorry, the 0.786. We came down. We found resistance. We dropped below, and we came up, we found resistance right here at the 0.618, and then we came all the way down here, hit support right here. This same trend line is support. We found support on it. We moved up. Where do we move up? Almost back to the 0.618, and then we got rejected, came back down. Then we had one more push up to the top of this trend line before we finally broke. We broke out of this and started coming down. So if you look at this, there's some similarities here. I mean, this was a steeper incline. This is the same thing, just stretched out over a longer period of time. And this is what I was talking about, that fractal. If you watch that video about the Bitcoin bubble, this is our resistance. You came down, you hit support, you came up, you found resistance. So I'm saying that this part right here, this is the same thing as this. And if you look at it, if you zoom in, you see we pushed up, we came back down, we came up this one, we came up to the 0.5, and then you come down, and where does it come right up to? Right to the 0.618, the 0.618, just like in the previous bear market. We topped out here, and we came down. And we came down more, we came up, we found resistance at the 0.382, we came back down. We're trying to get above it, so if we can't get above that, guys, we're coming back down. If we break the support, we're coming down a lot more. I'm just saying, if this plays out like this played out over here, let me get rid of this, we still have a lot more to come down. From this point to this point is a 76% drop. So if we do push up higher and we go sideways and we drop 76% from this point, 76% takes you down to $2,300. And let's see if there's actually a support level here. So potentially, there's a lot of support here, support and resistance around 2,957. You go below that, you're looking at potentially 1,800. Because previous resistance and support is usually where that that target would be. Let me pull this out and just see see if this matches up. Again, guys, it's all connected. So you can see this. I'm gonna move this back just so you can see where it's at. I'm gonna keep this line right here. But you can see that this 3.618, that right there gave us perfect resistance. This part where we dropped down and we got caught in this formation here. So this was our support, this was our resistance, and this was part of a fib retracement from our previous bear market. As soon as we broke above that, we pushed up, hit the top of this triangle, and then we moved back down, hit support. So again, guys, if we push above 11,299 or around there, according to this chart, I get bullish. Then then we start going higher, and then the bull run started. If we can't make it above that, then we're still in a bear market, and we're coming back down. We might get one more chance. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But this is the ultimate support. We break this, we're coming down. And I'm just saying, there's so much similarities when you compare this current bear market to our previous bear market. A lot of people think that this section right here is this section right here. I'm telling people that this right here is this right here. This is a much larger. There's so much more money invested. It's taking a lot longer to play out. That's why people are thinking that all of this is this, and I just think everybody has it wrong. But we'll have to see what happens. We'll see how it plays out. But watch that Bitcoin bubble video. Do your own. Load up. TradingView's free. Create an account, play around with the charts, see what you can find. I found this is pretty compelling to me. I'm ready for a significant drop. But again, guys, I gave you the target, what I'm looking for. If we push above that, I'll be bullish. Right now, I'm still bearish. As long as we're below this line right here, I expect this to come down lower. And again, let me refresh this. This is that center line, and this kind of goes along with the top. Actually, let's just do that again. with this chart. So, you know, that's our support right here. So yeah, I don't even expect us to make it. You know, I don't think we can make it back up to this point, because we would have to push all the way up to 12,200. You know, before we hit that point, I think we'll get rejected around potentially, you know, 11,000 if we do push up. So, you know, 11,000, we make above that, you still are going to find resistance here, but then you might come down, find support, and then we push up higher. You know, that's when I get bullish. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, we're still in a bear market, and I do believe that what's playing out right now is the same thing that played out here. So we'll just have to pay attention, see what happens. Again, guys, if you do want to access my charts, that information is in the description. If you click on list of charts, you know, every time I add a chart, you don't have to be subscribed to click on this. This just shows what charts are available. These are Bitcoin charts, altcoins, precious metals, stocks. And again, regarding the subscription, guys, you that have already subscribed $20 a month, even when it goes up to 40, you will still be paying $20 a month. That will not change for you. It's for people that subscribe after I update the charts. They will have to pay $40 a month. So if you get in now, it's $20 a month. Otherwise, it'll be $40 a month. But you can just pay 1 month for $40 if you choose. Those options will be available in the description, on the description page. And again, guys, if you do have access to the charts, the Discord invite link is down here. Click on the invite link. You can join the Discord. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, guys, because if I, you know, when I find something, this is where I'll make a post. It's quick and it's easy. It takes a while to make a video. But again, guys, that's it. Leave a like if you like it, and, you know, if you are subscribed, tick the notification bell. That's it.